You never realize how much someone can learn about you just by watching. I first noticed him in early November. Cold evenings, fog clinging to the ground, streetlights smearing yellow through the mist. From my apartment window, I could see across the narrow street into the row of townhouses opposite mine. There, in the window directly across from my living room, was a man. He stood there every night, not moving, not doing anything, just watching. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe he was bored. Maybe he liked looking out the window. People are strange, right? But it started to get weird. He wasn't just looking out. He was looking at me. The first time I felt it for real was when I was brushing my teeth one night and caught his reflection behind me in the glass. Not behind me in the room, but perfectly aligned in the opposite window. His face was pale in the glow of his TV, his eyes locked right onto mine. He didn't even blink. I turned off the bathroom light. When I turned it back on, he was gone. The next evening, same thing. He was there before sunset, standing so still it was almost inhuman. I tried to convince myself I was imagining it. Maybe he couldn't even see me from that distance. But one night, when I got home late from work, I saw something that made my stomach drop. My living room light was already on. I live alone. I always turn it off when I leave. But there it was, shining like a beacon, visible from the street. And when I looked across again, the man's window was dark. That was the first night I called the police. They came, looked around, told me there were no signs of forced entry. They said it could have been a timer or that I forgot. But I didn't forget. I changed my locks the next morning. Weeks passed. Every night he was there, staring. Sometimes he'd tilt his head slowly, like studying me through the glass. I started keeping my curtains closed, but then I began hearing things. Soft clicks at night. My door handle rattling once or twice. I thought it might be the wind until I found muddy footprints on my porch. Not shoe prints, barefoot. One night, my phone rang around 2 a.m. I didn't recognize the number, but half asleep, I answered anyway. "Do you still keep your curtains shut when you shower?" The voice was low, raspy, male. I froze. My heart went numb. "Who is this?" I demanded. Silence, then a faint chuckle. "You shouldn't hide your face. I like when you smile." Click. The line went dead. After that, everything spiraled. I moved my bed away from the window, slept with a knife on my nightstand. I even taped black trash bags over the glass. My friends told me to move, but I didn't have the money yet. Then came the night of the storm. Rain hammered the roof. Thunder rolled across the street. The power went out around midnight, and the whole neighborhood drowned in darkness. I lit a candle and sat on the couch, too nervous to sleep. And then I heard a voice, whispering, inside. "Found you." The candle flickered as a shape moved in the corner of the room. A man, tall, thin, dripping wet, stepped out from behind my curtains. His hair hung over his eyes, and his skin glistened from the rain. In his hand was something small and metallic. My phone. He smiled, lips trembling. "You shouldn't have closed the curtains," he whispered. "You disappeared. I missed you." I grabbed the kitchen knife from the counter and screamed, slashing wildly. He lunged, grabbed my wrist, strong, shaking, muttering nonsense about watching over me. I stabbed him, I don't even know how many times, until he finally fell, twitching, to the floor. When the police came, they found my door lock had been picked clean. The man had been living in the empty building across from mine. Mattress, camera, notebooks full of photos of me, dated and labeled by day and hour. Some pictures were taken from inside my apartment, some from my bedroom. One photo, the most recent, was taken that same night. It showed me sitting on the couch with the candle, taken from just a few feet away. Now I live on the 5th floor of a secure apartment building. No windows facing the street, cameras in the hallway, deadbolts on every door. But sometimes, when the wind is still and I pass by a window, I swear I see the faint outline of a man reflected behind me, face pale, watching quietly through the glass. And sometimes, I smile back, just in case he's still there. You never really know who's watching you online. When I started my small baking channel on TikTok, it was supposed to be harmless fun, something to fill the silence after my fiancé left me. My kitchen became my therapy space. I filmed simple clips of cupcakes, muffins, frosting tutorials, and slow-motion shots of sugar falling like snow. For the first time in months, people were saying nice things to me. "You're amazing. I love your voice. Your kitchen looks so cozy." It felt good, addictive even. Within weeks, I had over 50,000 followers. Brands started sending free ingredients. I started smiling again. But then, like a stain spreading under light, something dark crept in. It started with a small comment under one of my videos, the one where I wore a light blue apron. "You look even better in blue. Wear that again tomorrow." At first, I thought it was just a weird compliment. People online notice everything, right? But something about tomorrow stuck in my head. That video had been filmed 2 days ago. Still, I brushed it off and replied with a polite emoji. Big mistake. The next video I posted, Strawberry Tarts, had another comment. "You forgot your bracelet today, the one from your mom." That made me stop. My mom gave me that silver bracelet when I turned 18, and I rarely took it off. That morning, I had. I hadn't mentioned it. I hadn't posted about it. How could they know? I clicked the username, II Candy Watcher. No profile picture, no videos, just one follower, me. I don't even remember following them. I blocked the account immediately. But 3 days later, the same username, with a number 2 added, appeared under my new post. Blocking me won't help. I can still see you. I stared at the screen for minutes, heart pounding, fingers trembling over the report button. I deleted the video instead. For a week, I stopped posting. I told myself it was just a troll, some creep getting a kick out of scaring me. But then I noticed something that made my stomach twist. Every time I went live, even for a few seconds, a single viewer appeared instantly. No username, just user. And when I ended the stream, I'd get a DM. "You look tired today. Bad dream again?" By then, I'd stopped sleeping properly. Every sound at night made me jump. My phone light flickered at 3 a.m. Notifications came from accounts that didn't exist when I tried to open them. Then one night, I posted a quick 10-second clip, me slicing a red velvet cake. The top comment appeared within seconds. "Careful with that knife. It'd be a shame if you slipped." Something in my chest snapped. I called the police. The officer listened politely, took notes, and said, "You should probably take a break from social media." I asked if they could trace the accounts. He said it was hard to track online harassment unless there was a threat or physical contact. When I got home, there was a small white box on my doorstep. No label, no return address. Inside was a brand new chef's knife. Engraved into the handle were 2 words, "For you." I bought new locks the next morning. installed cameras, stopped going live. For a few days, things went quiet. I started feeling stupid for overreacting. Maybe it was all coincidence. Maybe someone local just wanted to scare me. But one evening, while reviewing footage from my kitchen camera, I noticed something wrong. Between 2:04 and 2:07 a.m., the feed glitched, static, distortion. Then a single frame flashed clear, a silhouette standing in my kitchen doorway, still, watching. The timestamp was from 2 nights earlier, while I was asleep. I unplugged the camera system that night, threw it in the trash, and called my friend Sarah to come stay over. She joked that I was finally interesting enough for a Netflix Stalker doc. We stayed up watching TV, laughing nervously, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being observed. My curtains fluttered, though no window was open. At around 3 a.m., Sarah went to the bathroom. She came back pale, shaking. "Did you put your phone on the sink?" she asked. "No, why?" "Because it's sitting there, with the camera facing the shower." I ran in. It was my phone, unlocked. Camera app open. Recording. The next morning, I threw my phone into the river near my apartment. I went dark. Deleted every account. For 2 months, I lived offline. No posting, no streaming, no videos. I even moved to a smaller town near the coast, hoping to vanish quietly. And for a while, it worked. Until last week. It was a quiet Sunday morning. I was in line at the grocery store wearing a blue hoodie and sunglasses. The cashier smiled at me and said, "I love your baking videos." My heart froze. I hadn't posted in months. I forced a smile and asked how she knew me. She turned her phone toward me. There, playing on TikTok, was a new video. My kitchen, filmed at night. The camera slowly panned across the counter, stopping at the empty space where my bracelet used to sit. The caption read, "She moved. I found her." The account name, Polaroid Candy Watcher. I didn't sleep that night. I checked every lock, every window. I turned off every light and sat in the dark, listening. Around 2 a.m., my phone, a new one I hadn't linked to any account, started buzzing. A notification from an unknown number. "Your new kitchen looks better. Don't hide again." Then another, with a photo attached. It was me, standing in the grocery line earlier that day. Same hoodie, same sunglasses, taken from behind. I called the police again. They promised to investigate, but the officer's tone said everything. They didn't believe me. Now I've covered every camera in my house. I don't own a TV, don't use Wi-Fi at night, and I keep my blinds nailed shut. But sometimes I hear it again, that faint buzz, that low electronic hum of a phone recording in the dark. And every so often, when I look into the reflection of my microwave door, I swear I see a red light blink, like a camera trying to focus. Maybe it's in my head. Maybe he's here. All I know is that every time I see that tiny red glow, I whisper the same thing to myself. Don't smile. Don't move. Don't let him know you see him. Because that's what he wants. If you've ever driven a long stretch of road alone at night, you know the feeling. That sense that someone might be following you just out of sight. I used to think that feeling was paranoia, until Bramble Creek. I work as a traveling nurse. Small towns, rural hospitals, temporary contracts. I'm used to driving through quiet back roads at odd hours. But last winter, I took an assignment in a place I'd never heard of. Bramble Creek, population 1,204. It wasn't on most maps. I only found it because the hospital emailed me directions. One main road led in, one led out. Nothing but pine trees, gas stations, and miles of silence. I left late, around 8 p.m., planning to reach by midnight. The highway was empty, the air sharp with cold. I played a podcast to keep myself awake, sipping gas station coffee and humming softly. But an hour in, I noticed headlights in my rearview mirror. At first, I thought nothing of it. A pickup truck, maybe another late-night traveler. But it stayed behind me, mile after mile. Every turn I took, it mirrored. When I slowed down, it slowed. When I sped up, it did too. The road was narrow, one lane each way, no shoulder to pull over. I kept glancing back, trying to see the driver, but the lights were too bright. Then it flashed its high beams. Twice. I frowned. Was that a warning? Did I forget to signal? It flashed again. Then once more, long and steady, flooding my mirrors with blinding light. I couldn't see the road anymore. I swerved slightly, gripping the wheel. Okay, I muttered to myself. It's just some jerk playing games. But then I looked closer. There wasn't a license plate. I took the next turn off, a long detour road toward a diner I remembered passing earlier on the GPS. The truck followed. Still no plate. Still those steady, burning headlights. By now, my heart was hammering. I tried to think rationally. Maybe I could pull into the diner's parking lot and ask for help. But when I got there, the lights were off. The sign flickered faintly. Closed. Still, I pulled in. The truck stopped across the road, engine idling. I could hear the low, throaty rumble. The driver door never opened. The lights stayed on me like a spotlight. I sat there, frozen, unsure what to do. After 5 minutes, the truck drove off, slow, deliberate, vanishing down the dark stretch of road ahead. I waited another 10 before moving again. When I finally pulled back onto the highway, I told myself it was over. But 40 minutes later, I saw the headlights again, far behind me. Faint at first, then closer. The same distance, the same rhythm. I gripped the wheel tighter, muttering to keep myself calm. You're imagining it. You're just tired. Then my gas light blinked on. I had 20 miles left. The nearest gas station, according to my GPS, was 18. I started counting down the miles like seconds. The road curved through dense trees now. No streetlights, no houses, just black forest swallowing both sides of the road. Then, for the first time in an hour, the truck turned off its headlights. The road went dark behind me. I hit the gas. My tires screeched. The car fishtailed slightly on the wet pavement. The darkness behind me swallowed everything. No truck, no sound, just silence. I kept driving until the faint orange glow of a gas station appeared ahead like salvation. I pulled in fast, nearly clipping the curb. The attendant, a young guy in a beanie, looked startled. "Rough night?" he said with a nervous laugh. "You could say that." I filled the tank, my eyes darting constantly to the road. No headlights, no sound. The clerk nodded toward my rearview mirror. "You lost someone back there?" I froze. "What do you mean?" He gestured casually. "That truck that's been behind you. Been pacing you for a while now." I turned. The truck was parked across the street again, engine humming low. The lights were off, but I could see the outline now. Old, rusted, dented front fender. Someone was sitting inside. I ran inside the gas station trying to call 911. No signal. The clerk said the landline hadn't worked in days due to a storm. He offered to lock up and let me stay until morning. I was about to accept when the sound of tires crunching gravel echoed outside. The truck had moved closer, right up to the edge of the parking lot. Its lights flicked on, blinding white, and the horn blared, long and shrill. The clerk jumped. I screamed. Then, as quickly as it came, it stopped. The driver door opened. A man stepped out, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a dark parka. I couldn't see his face, only the reflection of light glinting off something in his hand. He walked toward the station slowly. "Call the police," I whispered to the clerk. "I told you, the phones." The man stopped just outside the glass door. The light from the neon sign flickered across his face. Blank, calm, pale eyes that didn't blink. He lifted a folded piece of paper and pressed it to the glass. Written in thick black marker were 3 words: "You dropped this." He placed something on the ground. My heart stopped. It was my wallet. I hadn't even realized it was missing. I reached into my bag. My wallet was gone. The man smiled faintly, a small, slow twist of his lips, then walked back to his truck. He didn't run, didn't hurry, just climbed in, started the engine, and drove off into the night. The clerk and I stood frozen until we couldn't hear the engine anymore. "Maybe he was just trying to help," the clerk said weakly. But I knew better. Because inside the wallet, when I opened it later, there was something new, something that hadn't been there before. A Polaroid photo of me, sitting in my car, from behind. I made it to Bramble Creek the next morning, pale and shaking. The police said they'd patrol the road but didn't seem optimistic. They never found the truck. Over the next few weeks, I tried to settle in. New job, small apartment, quiet life. But the nightmares wouldn't stop. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those headlights growing closer. Then one night, as I walked to my car after a late shift, I froze. A note was wedged under my windshield wiper. In thick black marker, the same handwriting. "Missed you." And under it, taped neatly, was another Polaroid. It was taken that morning, of me leaving my apartment. Now, every time I drive at night, I can't help but check the mirror. Sometimes I see only darkness. Sometimes I see headlights. And sometimes, when the road curves just right, I catch a glimpse of that same rusted truck idling in the distance, never getting closer. Like it's waiting. Because maybe the worst kind of stalker isn't the one who wants to hurt you. It's the one who wants you to know they're still there. Watching. Following. Patient. Until you start watching back.